Hey, what's up guys? It's Jake aka Tag, and today we're starting the video off strong. We've achieved Ultimate Champion. It's pretty lit. I'm pretty happy about this, and I'm gonna be going over some replays, showing you guys how I got there. First off, guys, I use Splashyard, an incredibly strong deck. If you haven't seen my tutorials on it or guides earlier on, go check them out. They'll be in the description below. But without further ado, guys, let's get into some games. It's an incredibly solid deck, and if you haven't tried it out on ladder where Night Witch isn't very strong, I would definitely recommend you guys doing so. Splashyard is especially strong on ladder because honestly, guys, there's no Night Witch here. No one's running really a level 5 Night Witch. Night Witch is causing huge issues for Splashyard and GCs and tournament standard gameplay just because you don't really have a great answer to deal with the bat spawn or the bats in general. So let's get right into the game right now, guys. So with Splashyard, you always want to be going same lane as your opponent. I cycled Skeletons at the start. You never really want to be cycling Baby Dragon or Bowler. You cycle Baby Dragon, you're going to have a lot of issues with Graveyard. You really need that Baby Dragon in your hand at all times for that Graveyard or that Balloon. You can't really cycle it, guys. Bowler is, if you cycle that at the start of the game, well, in this situation, this is a little bit rough for me. I actually probably have to poison that Graveyard. So as you guys are seeing right now, I actually had to allocate a ton of elixir right there to defend that Graveyard. And if he had Zap in hand, I would have actually taken a lot of damage. So that's why you typically don't really want to be cycling Bowler in the back. I actually ended up making a mistake that I said you shouldn't be doing. I did it live in the video. Oh man. So that's one of the biggest things not to do, is you don't really want to cycle a 5 elixir Bowler. You don't really want to cycle a Baby Dragon in the back until you really know what your opponent's running. You got to save those cards. So right now, I know that he's running Giant Graveyard. I'm going to be holding my Bowler. I'm going to be saving my Bowler and go same lane as his Giant for the rest of the game. There's no way I make that mistake again. I'm going to be cycling my Knight because it's the most expendable card in the game for me, or expendable card for me. I see him dropping Giant in the back. I'm definitely going to go same lane with my Bowler. And I assume he's going to go for another Graveyard push. So what I have in my hand right now is I have Baby Dragon, I have Skeletons, and I have Poison. I'm going to drop my Skeletons, just to cycle. I'm going to drop Baby Dragon on top of the Graveyard, and I'm going to Tornado everything back. So I'm going to Tornado the Giant and the Electro Wizard in a line, and I'm also going to Tornado it back. If you guys noticed that, the tower was targeting the Giant, and then it switched from targeting the Giant to targeting the Skeletons. So any of the Skeletons, stray Skeletons that weren't in a line, were going to get cleaned up by the tower, so my Baby Dragon splash was not wasted. That was really good for me, and that's one of the biggest things to consider. Against Giant Graveyard pushes, you always want to Tornado their push back. Also against Golem pushes, you Tornado everything back, and you let the Splash do the work. You let the Bowler do the work, you let the Baby Dragon do the work, and that's one of the biggest things to consider with this deck. This guy, I don't know if he's saying good game for him or good game for me. It was ambiguous at this point, but I knew that I had this game wrapped up because he's going same lane as the Bowler. I'm pulling everything back, so then the tower then starts to target the Skeletons again, so those Skeletons aren't going to get any hits. The biggest thing about Splashyard, guys, in general, is it's a counter push deck. You're not seeing me go for Night Graveyards like a cycle deck. It's me defending a Giant push or defending a big push, then using all the units I have on defense to make an offensive push and take the game with my remaining defensive units. Translating defense to offense is the way to win with this deck. So that was against Giant Graveyard. Let's hop into against a Hog game against the Sopa. Hog's a very easy matchup for this deck, but I just want to go over it so you guys know what's going through my head, because you're going to be seeing a lot of Hog on ladder. It's still incredibly popular. As I said, guys, I don't really cycle my Bowler. I'm going to cycle Skeletons. I'll cycle my Electro Wizard. I really will not cycle my Bowler until I see what he's running. Definitely cycling Electro again. It's okay to leak at the start of the game, guys. You don't really want to be leaking mid-match. If you see me leaking mid-match, it's going to be a mistake. I never really will opt to leak like at the start of the game. At the start of the game, it's really important to not cycle the wrong card, so then you're caught off guard and completely lose the game at the start. You always want to go same lane as your opponent, so therefore you're going to be more responsive. And it's okay to leak one elixir to make sure that you don't lose the game at the start, at least in my eyes. Especially when you're trying to play safe on ladder and push all the way up. So one of the biggest things with this deck is when you notice that they play a high Inferno like that, you can kill the Inferno with an Electro Wizard. That Inferno dying earlier on allowed my Baby Dragon to do some serious damage on the left side. Really good for me. I know I didn't really talk about it, but I did that tornado placement, pulled the Hog Rider to the King Tower immediately. It's pretty solid. If you're able to do that, then you're actually able to, if he drops a lone Hog Rider, I'll be able to tornado this to the middle, and he actually won't be able to get a single hit on the tower. Even if I didn't have the bowler there, it would seriously just get 0 hits on the tower. So both towers shooting at it and the King Tower, 0 hits every single time. If you do the right tornado placement. Which is key to do because it's going to be a +1 elixir. And that's literally his only win condition. The only other way he's going to be able to touch my tower is rocket, and that's simply not going to happen. Another huge thing to consider when you're playing against Zap Bait, Hog Rider decks, anything with an Inferno tower, literally his only defense against the Baby Dragon is going to either be a Knight or a Knight or Inferno. He actually doesn't even have Knight in this deck, I don't think. But a lot of times they'll have Knight and... Oh, he does have Knight. Okay, so he does have Knight and he does have Inferno. Those are his 2 things to actually absorb the Baby Dragon hits. So more often than not, he'll be dropping an Inferno. So if you go for Baby Dragons plus Graveyard, there's literally nothing he can do. Like, he's doing that -1 trade, and then he has to drop the Knight. That's really not good for him, having to expend 8 elixir for my 9 elixir, but I'm also getting damage on the tower. So it's a -1 trade, but I get all those Graveyard hits. That's one of the biggest things to consider when you're playing against anything with an Inferno. If they don't have Electro Wizard, especially if they don't have Electro Wizard, going for that Baby Dragon Graveyard, it's a really powerful maneuver, and you're going to get a lot more damage. It's a lot better than going for a bowler and then doing an even 5-for-5 trade every single time. Also, yeah, so this game is pretty much over. I just defended. You can't really outcycle Hog Rider plus, you can't really outcycle Tornado plus Graveyard. I even Graveyard Tornado in the middle just to make sure if he drops a Hog Rider. I literally have Bowler, I have Skeletons, I have Tornado, and I have a Graveyard in the middle. He's not getting through. That game is well over. So just playing safe against Hog Rider decks, making sure that you always take the dub is incredibly important, guys. So, this was a pretty straightforward game. I don't even know if I should show it. I won't. But the biggest thing to do against Bowler Giant is you always want to go same lane as them. Don't give them huge lightning value. That means you don't drop your Electro Wizard and you don't drop your you don't drop too many lightningable things in a row. You can drop Baby Dragon, you can drop Bowler because they both don't die to lightning. But you don't want to be dropping your Electro Wizard, and you don't really want to be dropping like 3 lightningable units that they can just kill immediately. Alright guys, so we're playing against Ace in this situation. This is against 3 Musketeer, and this is one of the hardest matchups in the game. I saw that he pumped up in the middle. That means it's going to be really rough for me. I can't really go for a Graveyard and punish the pump immediately. I had to go for a Graveyard Poison to, and I'm still kind of behind. Like, he's going to get 2 more ticks on the pump. He got 2 ticks on the pump. That means he's up 2 elixir from that. And he's dropping Skill Horde plus the pencil on the right, or on the left side. That's intimidating, guys. This is one of the hardest matchups in general. A lot of times against 3 Musketeers, I would advise you guys to tie, especially on ladder. You guys kind of got to tie or build off of their mistakes. One of the biggest things to do is not to go for too many aggressive Graveyards. Once you guys see when I'm behind a lot of elixir, I'm not going to be dropping Graveyard. At this point, I assume I actually will punish it. I'm not down an astronomical amount of elixir, but it's still, I still didn't have enough elixir to immediately Graveyard Poison there. Maybe you should have waited a little bit longer, dropped my Knight a little bit further back, but mistakes were made a little bit there. I guess I should have dropped my Knight a little bit further back. I actually have to eat those barbs, and it's really rough for me right now, guys. I don't really have anything to deal with the Skill Horde either. I'm going to have to drop Electro Wizard. Having that King Tower activated is really key. I improvised with the situation that I had right there, guys. I made it happen. I had to pull those pull those barbs to the tower. Otherwise, there was no chance of me drawing this game. Another thing against 3 Musketeers, guys, is I have 690 HP on my tower. But guess what, guys? Ace literally doesn't have a miner. He only has log for direct damage. You guys should never get discouraged when you're down a lot of elixir or when you're down a lot of tower damage. Against 3 Musketeers, you can always tie games that you guys think that you won't be able to. I was going for a tie in this game. I was about the life of just punishing his pumps. I was about the life of just making sure that his units weren't able to get a ton of damage on me. I was not going to be playing too aggressively. As you guys can see right now, I'm just going to be defending. I don't even think I go for a Graveyard right now because he's going to be up through. He already has a pump on the field that he's going to be collecting elixir from. He was going to get those 3 musketeers on the field anyways. Typically against 3 musketeers, they're always constantly able to drop 3 musketeers on defense, and it's going to be really rough, guys. I dropped the skeletons to keep the musketeers in that poison for a little bit longer, and it keeps my Electro Wizard. And my Electro Wizard did die. Okay, I was gonna say I almost kept my Electro Wizard alive, which would have been huge. It actually would have killed those spear goblins, and it would have been really nice. This is a really difficult situation. I actually ended up having to tornado again the barbs, and I have to drop skeletons to make the barbs come back. So right now, guys, this is not looking good for me. Both my towers are in critical alert at 968 damage and 550. That's kind of scary. I was by no means going for anything other than a draw. I'm just defending right now. I'm holding poison. I waited for him to drop everything. I didn't drop anything that was loggable. I didn't want to drop my skeletons. I'm trying to conserve as much elixir as possible. And I have to drop my bowler there. By no means can I ever let that touch my tower. Dropping bowler, any hits right now would just... 1 barb hit plus that would be 2 logs, and then I would lose. I literally just can't let it happen. I end up going for a graveyard. I get really ballsy. I tornado everything back, and I end up taking the dub. It was not expected. I was expecting him to play for a draw, and I had tornado in hand, and I was just went for it. I realized the time. It was truly a buzzer beater, guys. That was a crazy game. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for chilling with me, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.